This is the second problem of our Chapter 5 review on the equal values method. So we're going to be solving this second problem using the equal values method again. So remember, we need to start out with two equations in the y equals mx plus b form. And the m is going to be standing for the change, which in some cases is an increase, and in other cases is a decrease. The B will stand for our starting amount, so let's go ahead and write our first equation. So Nancy started the year with $425 in the bank and is saving $25 each week. Seamus started with $875 and is spending $15 each week. So when will they both have the same amount of money in the bank? All right, so let's put together an equation for Nancy. So we know it's going to go into this form, y equals mx, I'm going to leave a space for the m, plus the b. So now let's fill in what those amounts would be. So she's starting out with $425 in the bank. So that would be our starting amount right here. And so that's going to go at the end of the equation, the 425. And she is saving $25 each week. And so that saving is an increase to the bank account each week. And so that's going to be our M. So let's make that $25 times X. So these are some important clues also, because now we know that X is going to be in weeks, and we know that Y is going to be what our total balance is in the bank. All right, let's write the equation for Seamus. So Seamus is y equals mx plus some b. So let's figure out what those are going to be. He started out with $875, so that's our starting amount, which goes here in where the b goes. And then he is spending $15 each week. So that's actually a decrease. So that's negative $15 every week. All right, so let's take a look at what we have here. We've got two equations in the y equals mx plus b form. The next thing we do is we make that assumption. We want this to be when they have the same amount of money in the bank, and y is going to be equal to their total balances in the bank. And so this y has to be equal to this y. So Nancy's bank account needs to be equal to Seamus's. And if we're saying that this y is equal to this y, then we can also say something about the other side of the equation. So if this y is equal to this, and this y is equal to this, then these must be equal to each other. So we can rewrite the equation like this, leaving out the y's, and just say 25x plus 425 is equal to negative 15x plus 875, because we know that's true. We know that this part of the equation, the left, is equal to the right. All right, and now we use our problem-solving skills. So the good thing about this is now we only have one variable. We have an x on each side, and we're trying to get this down to 1x and on one side. So we're trying to isolate the x, and whatever we have left will be the solution to x. Okay, so I think I will zero out this negative 15 over on the right-hand side by adding 15x to it. And whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. So on this side, it's going to add up to 40x. And then I'll just drop down the 425 because that didn't change. Here, this is zeroed out. And so all I have left is the 875. So I'll write that down here. Okay, so now again, we are trying to isolate this x. So let's get rid of the 425 by subtracting 425 from each side. All right, so on the left-hand side, we've zeroed that out, and all we have left is the 40x. And on this side, we have, let's see, 40, 45, 450 left. Okay, so now we're still trying to isolate the x, and it's being multiplied by 40. So we're going to undo that relationship with the opposite of multiplication, and that is division. So we're going to divide it by 40 and divide both sides by 40. And 40 over 40 is 1. 1 times x is just plain x. And then on this side, let's see, we could make these numbers smaller by dividing both of them by 10. And then we've got 45 divided by 4. So that goes in once, twice, and we have 1/4 left, or 0.25. So it will be, since x is equal to weeks, it will be 11.25 weeks until they have the same amount of money. We don't know what that same amount is yet because we don't know what y is, but we can easily find that out because we can just take one of these equations, for instance, this one, and we'll replace the value of x in there and find out what y is. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that over here. Y equals 25x plus 425. And now let's insert the value for x. So that's 25 times 11.25 plus 425. Oops. All right, so I think I'll use my calculator for this. So 25 times 11.25 is equal to 281.25 plus 425. So that's going to be equal to 706.25. So that's how much money they will both have in their, that's their balance when they both have the same amount. So we can write a sentence in 11.25 weeks. They will have $706.25 in the bank.